Welcome back to Crypto's Juiciest News. My gosh, what a session we just had, friends. This is absolutely wild. You're probably hearing a lot from now. Let me cover it all here for you. Of course, I mean, the Bitcoin monthly candle is now green again, which doesn't really cover up for the fact that the stonk market is turbo nuking in real time right now. Arthur Gaze, friends, has literally said, hey, for everyone in crypto, this weekend is the final boss. He actually said that before the stock market opened. It's kind of like, friends, when you're in the stock market, like you just watched it a lot. Like when it starts sinking into a Friday, you know, bro, just don't look. Because when it starts sinking into the Friday, it does the gap, and it just like basically snaps everyone out. And then you actually see fantastical stuff. Sometimes it's like over the weekend, on the Monday, it'll reopen, right? Or like Sunday night for America, and then it'll gap down, and then that's the bottom. But you don't know it's the bottom. We'll just like start slowly grinding up, and just like it's kind of actually amazing to see how that stock. It literally, I'm not joking, it literally turbo nukes everyone out. It's kind of amazing to see. Let's check out the Ethereum price. Ethereum price still actual poopiness right here. Hopefully this month of April can do some sort of little recovery thing before we continue up. After that, man, I've got some stuff to go through. So the overall theme, friends, I mean, check it out. Bitcoin, a green emoji. The tulip emoji still for Ethereum. Ethereum's still like in the poopy town. But if we go and have actually a deeper look from here, the stock market has done, whoa, look at that. Bang, 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 bang. Friends, that's huge. Friends, I'll be honest, man, this is why. Look, imagine you had a crystal ball. You had a crystal Pokeball, actually. Let's say you had a crystal Pokeball and you knew, hey, the S&P 500 is going down 12% in a week, bro. 12% in 5 days. You would sell all your crypto. You're like, dude, get out. Literally get out. Not this market. It's over if you knew. Well, guess what? You made the wrong move, pretty much. Isn't that wild? You kind of made the right move. But you know what I mean? The panic on this thing, friends, is insane. Now, if I go check out the top of the S&P 500, wow, it's actually 18% down. Oh, just to let you know, friends, so if you're new to crypto and currency, let's play some PUBG music. Mew! Mew! Thank you. When you mark exactly 20% down, it's an official bear market. Okay, so that number is $4,900 here. Okay, that's 4,000. That's for the S&P 500. So it's down 18%. That's big, man. That's crack. It would be kind of weird, bro. Bear market. But the unemployment's only 4.2%. But you get to see, bro, the jitters and stuff out here. Trump's record, friends. This is the Trump's record, man, from like when he got in. It's like down 13%. Ouch. You got to recover that move. But we'll see what happens. Remember, a lot of people are like going back to the previous. Dude, this is a freaking bear market. This is like after the up only. We had like, GME and stocks, and crypto had like 2-3 alt season waves. And the money printing, and then the 22% came. You can't justify this one, man. But I mean, like in terms of, you can justify it for the S&P 500. You can't justify it, in my mind, for saying, we died on euphoria. It's literally all over. So I mean, of course, we're just guessing, but it is what it is. Okay. I want to show you Racist Russell 2000 as well, dude. Friends, do you want to see this? Look at this gap. Look at this gap. Yeah, bang. That's huge. Racist Russell 2000. Friends, I made this mog photo right here. I was like, we're ready. Okay, sweet. Racist Russell 2000. Let's see how much a Racist Russell 2000 is down. Oh my gosh, 27%. I told you it's US shit coins. See, friends, that's the thing, right? When you take on the leverage, look, you make more money in the riskier stuff. The problem is, if you want your money, I want my money in a year, that's enough time. No, it's not, bro. When you're in the risky stuff, friends, we're in altcoins. We're still down after 4 years. It's literally been 4 years. We haven't even started going up. You know what I mean? We're still down. So make it 5 years. So that's the risk. I want to make money. I want the higher growth. Yeah, but you got to commit to a long time. And then the thing is, how do you get paid? Well, we'll all get paid in Pulse Chain and altcoins and Bitcoin and Ethereum. We all get paid because people they've heard about this thing kind of for 4 or 5 years, and they've never acted. Now that it's finally going up, it's like when I think it's our payday, they think, oh, it's their payday too. But then they jump in. They don't know how fast it is. They can't conceptualize how fast it is, and they have no concept of these cheap or expensive prices, right? So to them, for example, buying Bitcoin at 150K is going to feel really, really, really good, like you're early, because they're listening to the $13 million targets, completely negating the fact that Bitcoin was 20K in 2022. You know what I mean? Like they're going to think, oh, wow, I'm buying someone else's 7.5x bag, and we haven't had a bear market yet. That they don't. So friends, it's kind of funny. Like friends, even Michael Saylor doesn't even believe in the cycles. You know that? Like no one does. It's kind of like every time it happens, no one believes it, right? And it's kind of funny. Every time we go up, I'm like, oh, maybe the cycle's going to break now. Even I'm like, oh, maybe the cycle won't hold up. But yeah, we've unfortunately experienced the very down poopy time. Look, I just showed you that racist Russell. Still not a single white Caucasian friend from racist Russell. Also, it's even more funny because Russell himself is white Caucasian too. Now, there were some gargantuanly huge macro moves, as I just shown you. So that's absolutely enormous. What I'm going to do now as well, I'm going to show you the Dicky Boy. So old Dicky Boy friends, don't worry about a move like this. It's just like it's a shock move for freaking the US dollar to drop 2%, man. That's huge, okay? That's like a currency dropping 20% because the world. But the good thing is it's still going down over time. You know, it's still going down over time. That's what we want. And like this, by the way, this candle down and up, it's just portfolio rotations of people out here as well. Remember, like when it's kind of funny. I literally didn't 15 hours ago. I literally tweeted when all we had was that red candle. I'm like, how long before the crypto cheaters realize that the Dixie's down? You know what I mean? The Dixie's like gap down, and then kind of funny. Crypto bounces back a bit, but the Dixie kind of recovers as well because there's a bit of that risk off stuff. Now, something interesting as well, friends. If I show you the US 2-year, check this out. The US 2-year went all the way down to 3.46%. It's back. It's around 3.64. Pretty much. Remember, the rate is 4.5 now. And the fact that it's near 3.5, it's near this level. That's about, remember, the interest rate today is 4.5. So the fact that the 2-year is down 100 basis points is pretty much the market saying, hey, in the forward 2 years from here, we're pricing in 4 cuts. That's basically what it's saying, 4 cuts, okay? And obviously you can see it's spiked down even more because the market's starting to, that chart that I showed you, it's because these things spike down more, you can see pretty much, if you just see that, you're like, oh, wow, why did we cut the rate? Oh, there must have been something really slow down-ish, stock market slow, there's slow growth, recession fears, that typical classic just macro stuff. Now, interesting, friends, gold, wow, gold's actually down for the month. I didn't know that. I'm just opening up gold right now. Let's look at the daily. Wow, gold, friends. I think actually that was the bottom then. I think that was the bottom. I think to celebrate as well, I'm going to tweak my nipples here just gently here for you. I think that was the bottom. Gold's top down. That's aggressive, man. You would think, friends, if I go back down and show you this chart, you would think if it was over, this thing would have to continue. But gold's pretty much stalled out, which is great. So that is very lovely to see. Remember, friends, earlier I thought gold stopped out here, 2,600. Okay, we thought it stopped out here during November. Look at this. It thought it was over, but then it went oh crap. And then this move was basically, see this, friends? Remember, crypto had a garbage December to right now. See this? And gold's going up. So obviously you see gold rallies as crypto's risk off. Dare I say, but Sommi, how do we know this one's finally topped out? Well, friends, you never know, but I don't know, man, because it's gold, bro. How long are you going to go up forever? You had the two, look, also reminds me, see how there's two of these, these little candles here? It's kind of funny. It reminds me of, if we go back to the Bitcoin on a weekly chart, it reminds me of this, where there was Bitcoin goes up, and this was the earlier bull market, and then has that shock move up, and then that's it actually distributes out here. It distributes. So that's pretty much it. So when gold stalls out, you don't need to go down per se. Just when it starts stalling out, that's pretty much the risk off buyers have pretty much it. Hopefully it's a sign that the things are about to get better for the things that we're in, which is risk on. Having a quick look at the others BTC chart, still garbage, still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it's staying down forever. But remember, we cover it every single day. It's just this ETH BTC. Okay, so others BTC, we've now known, okay, just it. others, you're an extension of Ethereum. Ethereum's garbage, then we are garbage squared. I think that's pretty much the conclusion from all of these that we've been watching and waiting. Come on, bro. Hurry up. Also, I think it would be nice just to take some time and just go back to that yield curve, friends. Like, oh, man. Friends, remember, like, literally, look at this. The yield curve uninverted in November, right? And then look what happened. That was literally the last green month we had for altcoins, didn't we? Right? Isn't that crazy? But then look at this. It's come back down in the friendship zone. So it might actually be happening, the fake out. This was the risk off. Everyone's like, oh, crap, it's over, no buying. And if this thing comes back down, maybe that's not going to play out the way it is. Just a friendly reminder, when this thing like shoots out here, that's bad. That's the recession part. Because the only way to uninvert it, right, is it's the US Fed cutting rates. That's pretty much it. And there were these periods of fake outs in history where, like, you know, fakes out, comes back down. Remember, this is a 2-month chart, just to remind you. Let's come up here, come back down. A 2-month chart. So look, this was a fake out and it came out here, 180 days. I don't think there was a recession here. Maybe that was a fake out as well. And then this might have been one here. So like this is the real yield curve, okay? That's a 3-month to 10-year. And it's just like, there's no free lunch with any of these, man. You're just like, you don't get any of these perfect indicators to basically just, you know, smack it up. Come on, bro. 5 red months in a row on others BTC. Just feels like all hope is lost. Honestly, it's been way too long. Like we're still going down after 5 years. Yeah, pretty much been 5 years actually. Chainlink was $20 in August of 2020, not 2021, 2020. Ah man, what do you do? Now I'll get on with some of the juicy McJuicy news, friends. Let's crack it on here. So there's a lot to run through, but I just want to just show you basically the chaoticness of everything going on, right? So the scum Chinese government, Matt, you got to tell your government, you got to tell President Pooh. All right, he's real close, bro. He's real close. He's lucky we got Spoonie with us, okay? He's lucky. I'm telling you that. So scum Chinese government, friends, they tried to ruin our bull market again. They did this whopping massive reciprocal tariff on Trump, USA. And it was a plus 34% tariff. And then that was basically as soon as that came out, Bitcoin, everything turbo nuked, right? But then that was actually what made the bottom. So what I'll do is I'll just come back and just show you the daily candle of it. It started turbo nuking. Let's actually look at it now. Yeah, so here we go. So China was like, hey, guess what? Maybe it was here. I think maybe it was here. China comes down, guess what? Goodbye, bull market. No more bull market for you, bank. So that's pretty good. So this is, friends, this sign. See, you know what? This is what I love, man, right now. Some people, you might be scared. We're all scared. But what I found fascinating was all of us are watching this, yeah, and on Twitter, we're all like, listen, I'm not saying anything, but we haven't nuked yet. And everyone's just like waiting. And we're like, it could be bullish. I don't, we might nuke right now, but we're just waiting. Everyone's just waiting and doing nothing. Yeah. That's like the people who are bulls, we're too scared to say it's bullish. We're too scared because you're watching the stock market turbo nuke right now. Right. So they're too scared. And then the bears, okay, which is literally like 60-70% of people, what they're saying is we are going to do a delayed dump. We're going to dump just later now. Which is, I've never heard them say that, man. I've never heard them say that. I'm like, bro, what does Bitcoin, of all shitty Ponzi asset classes in the world, with insiders and front runners and all these other dog shit, does Bitcoin wait for these other things? Really? Dude, we just nuke first. If S&P is down 0.1%, sweet, drop 10%. We're done. If it wants to go down. So why isn't it? Well, I think sellers, we've run out of sellers. I think so. Of course, you know, what if the stock market drops 30% tomorrow? But obviously, you get the point, though. It looks like Jeets have been jeeting here, and it feels like we've run out of sellers. That'd be great. What I'm going to do now, friends, is a show of friendship. So having a look at that closer time frame. As a show of friendship, I'm going to look at the global M2, the fractal thing. Now, we are here. It depends how you look at it, man. Like, it's just up and down. Are we going up? Or is it the up and the downs? That's why right now, Some people believe, like this is from Collins indicator, we could just go sideways and then start going up. That's possible, friends. It is possible. You just follow it to the T. But as well, if you do the offset, that's why I don't want to look. I'm just going to do this offset, but I'm going to change it back. Okay, I'm just going to show you this. I'm going to change it back. All right, because I don't want to tempt anything in the universe. We'll just have a look at this just in case. It's also possible, man. Why can't we just go up like this and just go sideways for the end and then go up? But it's what we do when we play these games is like, because you want to know what comes around the corner always. We're speculating, bro. It's humans, yeah. The Anunnaki know what comes next, but we're not evolved like that yet. So you want to know what comes around the corner, but as well, you know you're in it for the long term. So ultimately, you're just trying to protect yourself just in case something bad happens. That's it, right? Because you never get the surprise to the upside, do you? You're like, oh, it's just continuing the cycle. You're like, it's always shocks on the downside, right? And that's what it comes down to, right? I'll play some bizarre music first. That's what it comes down to. Just like, that's what you're doing. This whole game is like, don't cheat, don't cheat, don't cheat, don't cheat. You just say that to yourself every single day. That's how you make in this game. So obviously, scum Chinese government, it backfired. Their move to just basically kill the Bitcoin bull market like they did in 2021 backfired. Actually, friends, you notice multiple times now, Matt's government, President Pooh, multiple times they've tried to kill our bull market. They can't. And I'm thinking, that meme, ha ha ha, you have no power here, President Winnie the Pooh. Which means it's I think it's still a 2017 cycle style. It ain't the 2021. 2021, we got cracked by China. Crypto market's holding up well considering stocks turbo nuked, but everyone is too scared of the late follow through selling Jeets later on. So also want to tell you, Arthur Gaze came out, basically said, he says everything I've been saying for 4 months. He said US dollar's got to come down, which is what it is. China's now got to print, which is what they're going to do. And the Fed's eventually going to respond to this lower growth of the GDP, because GDP's estimates now minus 3.9% going forward, minus. So now Fed's going to have to stimulate and just make up for the difference. So it's pretty much what we talked about that for 4 months. It's been playing out. There's been some jitters, that's for sure. And crypto's unfortunately just turbo nuked in that process out here. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And then Arthur, he pretty much, for him to say this weekend was the final boss, it was before it happened. And we just had that big thing. That's what it was. It's pretty much because I'll just show it to you now. It's kind of like you could feel something bad's happening with stocks, right? Which I'll bring them up right now. You knew, okay, something really bad's happening with stocks. Let's actually just put it like a 2-hour chart or something. You're like, oh crap. Something bad is happening with stocks. It's turbo nuking as well. Let's put on the daily. And it's like cracked his levels out here, right? It's come back down here. What's going to happen? Now it's all up to crypto. How does crypto respond? Okay, now, stock market's like, what does it do? But we've shown you, right? With all those lovely lollipops, I think we run out of sellers now. Run out of sellers. Like, who's left in crypto has a weak hand? You know what I mean? Like, you've been holding 4 or 5 years, bro. You know what I mean? Like, we are the strongest of hands now. We've literally have no returns for 4 or 5 years. The people who have had a return, they were in Solana. They rotated to Solana memes. They bought into meme coin super cycle at the top. They're also down 90% now. And they need that thing to come back like everyone else. Like, you know, so that's pretty much, that's a very, very small sub percentages of the whole crypto industry, by the way. As well, friends. So US markets are now giving a 38% chance of a rate cut. If you remember yesterday, it was about 18 to 20%. Now it's up to 38% chance of a rate cut, and it's on the 7th of May. Probably has the words. So what will happen over time is if Powell is going to do what Arthur Gaze said. So Mr. Gaze, friends, let's listen from Crypto Banter Show. Shout out to Rainy Boo and Arthur Gaze. Shout out to Gay Boo. Let's go.
As it may, his mandate allegedly is keep inflation down and keep employment up. That's pretty much what Powell's mandate is. You're saying that there's going to be a break away from the mandate here, and that they're going to step in to help the government?
Yes, and I think Powell is going to act just like every other Fed governor has acted in the past. For World War II, the Fed was subsumed into the Treasury, and they conducted yield curve control, where they fixed the price of bonds to allow the U.S. government to fund the build-out of the war. in the 1970s. Arthur Burns, wrote a famous essay, which I quoted in the essay, The Anguish of Central Banking, where he talked about how the social programs that the US government was pursuing were incompatible with squelching inflation. And as the Fed chairperson, he felt that his duty was to the federal government to do what the politicians wanted. And he did that. Paul Volcker, yes, he did raise interest rates very aggressively in the early 1980s, but even he stopped short of going, full nuclear on things when Reagan and lots of senators and Congress people were on his ass in the early 1980s because of the steep recession. And we had the Greenspan put in the 1980s and 1990s, and then we had Ben Bernanke with helicopter money, and then we had Janet Yellen with her policies of continuing QE and then doing stealth QE at the Treasury Department, and now we have Jerome Powell ending QT essentially, while unemployment's at 4%. The stock market's at all-time highs. Maybe it's off, 5 to 10%, but it's still all-time highs. And the U.S. economy has been growing above trend pretty much for the last, few years after COVID. So there is no need for easy monetary policy.
Be that as it may,
It's kind of funny, friends. So, mogged is exactly what's going to be happening to the non-believers. It's interesting, right? They did that interview before the nuke. They did it before the nuke. So it's right before, but his words are still the same. So, but it's just interesting. He's like, we don't need an interest rate. It was kind of funny. He's like, we don't need an interest rate. Dude, look what it did in the day. Look what it did in the day. The stock market 6.7, friends. That's turbo nuke. It's kind of funny. Like 6%. That's my slippage to get into some of these altcoins, my friend Sommi. I know. If I'm not paying 6% slippage to get into your coin, I don't want to buy it, okay? It ain't gonna pump enough. Oh, man, it's kind of funny. That's just how it works, right? This is Big Daddy, friends. Yeah, no, you're in... Look, it's crisis mode now, pretty much, for the S&P 500. Because, dude, you're basically right near the bear market level. You know what I mean? And you've just, switched from bull to bear the day the president actually comes in. So this call, that's why, friends, as this thing nukes, it's interesting, right? The interest rates, pricing and stuff. And as Arthur Gaze said, one of our favorite, most gayest bears, Fed, Powell, all the central bank, they're all working together, friends. They all pretend like they're independent and neutral. They ain't. When push comes to shove, because remember, how's the government make money? Okay, they got to sell bonds. Yeah, who's buying them? Are you buying them? What am I getting? 5%? You guys are printing 7 at least. I can't even see it. I can't verify it. How much are you really printing? I don't trust your freaking papers. I don't know. You're giving me 4, not even 7. You're getting a 4, some dog shit rate. I'm not trusting that stuff. But these other big countries that have to buy that. Okay, what do they stop buying it? Because the tariffs. They don't have the money to buy them anymore. That's pretty much how the Fed has to come in and start printing and bidding up this stuff. And then, friends, this is kind of like, I'm just telling you, man, once you know the game, you start looking at these world events differently because the incentive is always to print money. It always is to print money. You don't want to know why? Because when people are yelling to print money, let's say there's a GDP gap of 4%. Yeah. When they print, friends, they never print the exact amount. Yeah. Because you're in so much pain, you want them to do something. You're gasping for air. It's kind of like you haven't eaten in 3 days. You're really, really, really hungry. So, if you're really hungry, friends, you haven't eaten in 3 days, you go to McDonald's. You're not going to go, hey, can I get just 6-pack of nuggets? You're not going to get that. You're going to get the Big Mac meal and the 6 nuggets and the sundae and an extra cheese. But you know what I mean? That's what happens. That's the money printing thing, right? But instead of the Big Mac meal and the fries, it's excess currency units that go to JP Mosquito, Goldman Slugs, Bank of Ants, Citibug, and all the other bug eater banks. They're moving all their money. And then it seeps into their hands and the rest seeps into the economy. The rich get richer once again. It's like this. It's the same manufactured thing over and over and over. It's just the story's different every time. It's Trump. It's tariffs. World zombie virus. Chinese government's doing this. I'm just weird, bro. There's always one response, which is you're in a state of panic with me, right? And then we're begging the government, please, sir, please, sir, please print some money. I need to afford this Pokeball, please. It's always the same thing. Print money. It's fascinating, right? Why is it always like that? Or it always is like that's almost like why you think about if you get richer from all the money printing, there's incentives for you to put fear in us, number one, to make the turmoil worse, number two, to make you look like the savior, number three. You know what I mean? There's always an incentive like that, friends. You know? US unemployment came out a strong 4.2%. People say, oh, worse than expected. That's strong as hell. That's also what Arthur Gage was talking about. He's thinking about, yeah, you're starting to stimulate, but you know what I mean? Kind of like what he's basically saying is they know what's around the corner without saying anything. Trump's policies. Trump says, my policies will never change. And then he also said, only the weak hands will fail, which I just wanted to bring this up for you, which is hilarious. Is President Pump watching your friend Sommi's PDI videos? He's saying, he actually said, only the weak hands will fail. It's strange. He doesn't talk like that, friends. How many times have I said, only the strong hands remain, believers only, diamond? I talk like that. Trump doesn't talk like that. Weak hands will fail. Interesting. I guess he's long with me. Probably nothing, though. Probably nothing. I know who he's talking about. Oh, man, that's funny. Also, JP Mosquito, Jamie Dildo's bank, they said there's a 60% chance of a recession this year. Yeah, but they say a lot of things all the time. And by the way, the bank's pretty big. Like, who makes a decision for all of you? Or we officially think, you know, friends, like we're in crypto, we're against the world, and we can't even agree with each other. You know? If we can't agree, how do you guys agree on shit? They all just, I guess, fall in line or whatever. That's why it could be just a psyops message. And they're probably like buying the dip on the S&P 500 at the same time. Trump says that China played it wrong. He's basically saying Matt panicked. Matt shouldn't have done the reciprocal tariffs. Friends, it's also funny, man. You know, me and Matt, we you know, every time we meet up, friends, me and Matt, crypto crashes. Every single time. Every time we meet up, we literally now say, crypto's about to crash again. It's been going on. Matt, how long has it been going on now? It's been about 5.5 years. Yeah. And yes, we did meet up zombie virus. I'm telling you, every major crash. 2021, I'm not joking, every single time. Yeah. I don't want to tell you this because I don't want to keep jinxing it, okay, when we do meet up. But I'll just, maybe next time we do, should I tell him, Matt, when we meet up? Literally every time we meet up, it's that's why I used to think it's the universe going, oh, you're a bit too euphoric right now, so you're feeling good. I've got a bit of spare time, but oh man, it depends. It's 2025, dude. It's been going on literally since 2020. Like we're on year 5, going into year 6 of this happening. Every time we just meet up, like lunch, food, shisha, whatever it is, the crash is coming. It's like that's the top, but like we'll see. Found this hilarious as well. So friends, NASDAQ officially hits 20% down, the official bear market territory number. Remember, stock market, S&P is the real daddy, 17%. But NASDAQ, because that's the tech stocks. Tech's getting, I guess, obliterated. Technology, right? President Pump has said, actually, first you got President Pump and Winnie the Pooh, and then President Pump as well. Okay, so here is the Vietnamese Prime Minister here. I don't know. He's doing a cute duck face as well. He looks very cute. He looks very cute and huggable. Don't you just? He looks like a little cute Asian grandpa. Like you just want to hug him. You know what I mean? He just looks so cute. Okay, so President Pump said Vietnam's president, his name is Scam Long Dong. He told him that they'll cut tariffs to 0 because PDI buyers are funding their economy. So you're very, very welcome, everybody in Vietnam over there. Fed Chair Powell says Trump's tariffs are bigger than expected, risking higher inflation and lower growth. And then he said they will raise inflation in the next quarters. So quarters, some people say. I still think they're full of crap. I think that saying that inflation, friends, when push comes to shove, I think what Arthur said, their terminology, if I remember, basically said like he's gonna come out, he's gonna say, look, we're cutting rates only because Trump's tariffs are transitory. So once they've like been printed in, they're no longer in the system. You know, so he's basically showing you, hey, this is how they like move into the rate cut, right? As well, friends, White House official on President Trump's thinking. He's at the peak of just not giving a truck anymore. Yeah, it's friends. It's kind of funny, man. It's red candles at the S&P 500. Like, here's the thing: you're not long the S&P, so you didn't give a crap. But wouldn't it be a good buy the dip right now? Yeah, but because you're not long, you're not thinking about that. You're like, you know what I mean? Like, you're not like, the fee, President Trump, whatever. Like, that's nothing, dude. That's nothing. Like, you guys at least want everything to go up. Like, we're in crypto where like people actively turbo nuke projects to fund their own stuff. You know what I mean? Like, they got it easy, man. They got it way, way, way easy. I know the dollars amount are bigger, but you got it easy, bro. You didn't have to worry about a 90% wipeout. You know, we do. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says Bitcoin is becoming a store of value. Just thought I'd throw it in there. Interesting, right? When we turbo nuke, they still talk about the Bitcoin. I think it's just, you know, fascinating that it's easy to lose sight, friends. Like, we've been gifted, man. He's got an administration who doesn't want to send us to zero. But I heard this interesting perspective from Ivan. Shout out to Ivan Boo. It's very interesting. He said, well, maybe it was better under Biden because it forced everyone to adapt to crypto faster and better. And I thought, damn, I never thought about it like that. It was because they were like so obviously anti-crypto. You had to go and learn the other route. Now it's like, just Trump's like, hey, yeehaw, crime season, baby. You know, so, but that's also, it might be just descriptive of the red monthly candles as well. Trump tweeted at Fed Powell saying he should cut the rates now and it's a good time. So he actually did do that. I'll show you. So this is its tweet. This would be a perfect time for Fed Chairman Jerome Powell to cut interest rates. He's always latte, but he could now change his image and quickly. Energy prices are down. Actually, I've got to stop that. That's actually some good manipulation. That's actually some good manipulation. You see what he did there? Wow. He's doing that like subconsciously as well. He's like, listen, you're a turd. You've always been a turd and you're late. Now's your chance to prove them all wrong, though. Wow. I shouldn't even use, it's not manipulation. It's just like, it's managing people. It's managing people. It's also framing. I never thought about something like that. That's interesting. Because like, you and I are friends, like, we're long markets, bro, you know. Imagine you said to, hey, market, bounce or I'll cut it off. Bounce or I'll cut it off, market. You know what I mean? Like, market doesn't care, bro. Like, hey, no, on a turbo nuke more, cut it off. It's kind of funny how it works. Energy prices are down. Interest rates are down. Inflation is down. Even eggs are down. 69%. You know, you could have used another number, sir. Jobs are up all within 2 months. A big win for America. Cut the rates, Jerome, and stop playing politicals. Wow. So, wow, it's kind of funny how he just manipulates. I can't use the word, I'll use the word manipulating. Everything's manipulation, right? Everything's manipulation. But just, yes, it's interesting how it's all playing out. Because we're not in like macro, like it's easy for, we're unbiased. You know, because I thought everyone's got our perspective. They don't, man. They don't. If you watch my channel, you're in the clear, okay? I listen to a lot of people, man, they take this thing to heart. Trump doesn't care. Remember like Andrew Yang, friends, Andrew Yang's tweeting. He goes, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. I've never seen anybody actively nuke themselves. Actually kind of funny now that I think about it. Richard Hart reminds me of what Trump's doing now. Andrew Yang. I trucking hate these trucking tariffs because they're so trucking stupid. I've never seen so much value destroyed deliberately. This is the worst leadership ever. Interesting. It literally reminds me to Richard turbo nuking EHEX. And like, okay, you're gonna get offended at this one. Turbo nuking PDI. It reminds me of that. And I'm wondering if it's all playing it. Because what I'm doing is I'm outside. I'm thinking, hey, if I'm looking into the bubble, yeah, from the outside, and like, I don't think Trump's lost his rocks at all. He's just doing exactly what he said he'd do. It's obviously like psyops, strong manning. It's just part of the plan. Whatever it is. Don't worry about the description. It's just part of the plan. It is the plan. Okay, there's going to be readjustments out here. It's part of it. Yeah, so just stay long and just let it play out. I wonder that's the exact same thing happening with EX and PDI. It looks like it's it's turbo nuke because it's saying the same thing. But what do people say about Richard now? Richard, he doesn't care. The leadership is gone. He doesn't care about me anymore, please. He doesn't care anymore. You're that cute little like violin guy when like the economy's going to shit and like the plague is here. No, sir, please. Please care about my feelings. I think it's going to be all right, man. Well, by the way, okay, if it gets worse, it gets worse. Like, didn't we say that 4 months ago? Okay, here we are. The markets prevent, like, remember, look, in markets and investments, okay, with the cycle, if you are, remember, it's a scale of 0 to 10, yeah. If you're under an 8, you can't sell. You just can't. It's not euphoria yet. It's like mild optimism and like if it goes from 0 to 7, back to 3, back to 6, back to 3, back to 6, like that type of optimism. It's got mild optimism and then it's over. Mild optimism, it's over. That's the FUD crying, but you can't get out, man. You get out if there's like literally euphoria. So what it does in the middle, it should not matter. Now, obviously, that's idealistic, right? It does like we feel it all, but that's it, friends. Sticking to the plan. Like, there's been a lot of bad stuff that's happened in history. Like we got a pro crypto president who's literally scary. Like he's actively dumping his meme coin on everyone. You know what I mean? Like I think we're gonna be all right. Like, subscribe, bit about it, and I'll catch you soon.